All right, so let's go to the AFC North next. Browns 2-2,
Go.
Ravens 2-2, Steelers 1-3, and the Bengals 0-4. Did I not call it before the season? Did I not say the Bengals were going to be maybe the worst team in the NFL this year? Did I not call that? Do you not remember that? I said it.
I don't remember a lot of things, but I'll take your word for it.
I said it. I said they're going to be one of the worst, and they are god awful. God awful. Bengals. Is there any one positive we can say about the Bengals?
Here's what I was gonna say about the Bengals, man. Have you seen all those tweets? There was a picture of, because AJ Green isn't playing. There was
Oh,
like
where he
that
just
little.
looked.
He's just looked like
Yeah.
get me out of here, please. And everyone's like, "Oh, AJ Green's gonna request a trade."
But
Are
if I
we
was him,
are we at that point now in the
I would
NFL?
say if I was him though, he's not super young anymore. He's been in the league a while. He's injuries, a lot of injuries, but he still has some in the tank. Why do you want to waste that time with the Bengals? If I was him, I would.
But is that what is the NFL going to become similar to the NBA, where if a guy senses
That's
that
what
his
everyone's
team isn't
saying.
doing very well, he's
That's
just
what's
going
happening.
to leave? I mean, if I'm him, I'd be in the same boat. I'd be like, well, I'm in my prime now. We don't have pieces around me, so I see it from his point of view.
Yeah.
But also, it's like, is this just going to be a common theme? Like, you better hope you do well with a good player, because if not, you're going to be forced. He's going to force his way out of town.
Yeah.
Like, I understand it from his point of view, and I also understand it from the other side, where it's like that's not something you really want to see, ideally. But
But you can't
I,
completely blame them.
yeah, no, not at all.
I think some of this is honestly, this is my conspiracy theory, all right? Why we're
Uh-oh.
seeing more of this is I think some of it is they're doing this to we're leading up to a I wouldn't be surprised that we'll have a strike in the NFL because I think
Ooh.
it's really going to come to a head this whole CBA because I think the CBA is coming up here pretty quick and it's starting to become a big problem with these contracts, right? We as a player we have to play out your contracts and we if we god forbid we ask for more money but as soon as y'all don't want us y'all can done and we don't make hardly any of what that contract is. I think some of this has to do with that, like ruffling the owner's feathers and stuff like that. I'm telling you, I think don't be surprised whenever it's up there's going to be a strike, man,
I'm gonna
because
start training. I'm gonna
the
need more of
NFL
those gummies,
the
guess.
the foot the NFL is by far not by far anymore, but it's the biggest sport in America. But yet their players have the least, like they have the worst union, right? The worst deal with the owners.
Mm-hmm.
NBA has it great. MLB has it great. I don't know so much about hockey, but it seems like all the leverage is always on the side of the owners. But that's why I think they're trying to ruffle the feathers and and maybe try and help themselves get more flexible contracts for themselves too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, wouldn't
So
surprise me, man. It wouldn't surprise. But yeah, I found that very interesting. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see AJ Green on the
yeah.
move.
Steelers 1-3. No Ben Roethlisberger out for the season.
Yeah,
Rudolph. Yeah.
they ain't going nowhere. Rudolph has looked okay, but he's still
He's not. He looks like
yeah.
he's a team. A, to me, he looks like a quarterback that can come in and if Roethlisberger gets hurt and can't play the fourth quarter, he could help you maybe maintain a lead,
Stay in a game.
stay in a game. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a everyday start in the NFL. He doesn't look like it
Nah.
to me. I want your opinion on again, guys. We haven't done the show in a couple weeks, so we're catching up on some more things. Steelers trading for Minka Fitzpatrick. The Steelers Ben Roethlisberger goes out for the year, right? You go down to 0-2, right? I think they were down to 0-2 when they made this trade. It's looking like they're going to be really bad. Their only victory is against maybe the worst team in the NFL, the Bengals. You trade your first round pick for Minka Fitzpatrick. You probably just handed the Dolphins a top 10 pick, potentially a top 5 pick. Is he worth that?
They must feel like he's
That good?
that good. I mean, sometimes there's talent that you can't pass up.
If the Dolphins play this upcoming draft right, they're golden because that pick could probably a top 10, potentially a top 5. They got the Texans pick, right? First round pick. Tunsil and
I
Stills,
believe
right?
so.
So that's probably not a top 10 pick. That's most likely, y'all probably make the playoffs, but it's still a first round pick.
Hmm.
So, I mean, if Dolphins could turn it around quickly, I'm just surprised that the Steelers would do that. If Ben Roethlisberger is not out for the year, I get it, right? Ben Roethlisberger only has a couple years. You got to give him everything that team needs to help him win, right? Because he only has a couple. But he's out. He's
I
out,
agree.
and then you're going to trade your first round pick. That pick could be used on his potential replacement.
Yeah, like
Crazy
Silence
to me.
said, they
Yeah.
must really trust Rudolph to be the franchise quarterback because they got rid of an opportunity to snag a really good one potentially in
Yeah.
the draft.
Crazy to me, man. I was really shocked that they did that deal. That it's you're giving away. You're about to be really bad. Mika Fitzpatrick's not going to help. Good player, but he's not going to He's not the difference between y'all being a really bad team and y'all being a good team. You don't have a quarterback. Mason Rudolph's okay, but yeah. Ravens. Here you go, Godly. Ravens 2-2. Started off the season 2-0, and everybody's like, oh my God, Lamar Jackson. Back down to earth the last few games. What are your thoughts on them?
I still think they're a good team. They're gonna compete between them and the Browns, honestly, to get a shot at that at the playoffs. Because I don't think either of them are gonna have a good enough record to sneak in a wild card spot. I think they're gonna have to win the division to get in or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, I think they're decent. Lamar's still young. People are expecting him to already be a world beater. What is this? His third year in the league?
I
Second?
think so. Last year was his rookie year, I thought. So
So
second year,
second
right?
year in the league, and he's already. I mean, he's showing signs of being a really good quarterback. He's gonna improve.
Yeah.
He
He still
clearly
has a
he's like
yeah.
out. What do you think?
He still has a lot to work on. I think. I think what week 1 was against the Dolphins, right? And he lit it up. Week 2, he lit it up again. I don't even remember who they played now off the top of my head, but they played the Chiefs. He actually played decent, but in the key moments at the end, you can see where his passing skills are definitely he's gonna have to improve on those to really um, to bump up from there. What's up, Yukon? What's up, man? How you been?
And Hank,
And Hank,
hope he
what's
gets
up? You have
feeling better, man.
yeah,
Rest up. Take those
yeah,
very very seriously.
yeah, very, very seriously, for sure, man.
Don't rush back.
And how are you doing, Yukon? But I think he I think he's shown big improvement passing, but then I don't think he's quite there where they can lean on that. And
Year
they're
two.
gonna have to be so run heavy. You know what I'm saying?
Year
So
two. He's young still. We cannot say he's. You can't judge a guy on a second year in the league. It's like people trying to be like, "Oh, Baker is trash." It's his second year in
I
the league.
I agree with Godly. I agree with Godly a little bit because he was getting so much hype from those 2 games that everyone's like, "No, this is top tier quarterback right here, not top tier scrambler. This is top tier quarterback." And it's like he played; these receivers were wide open. Like I would hope that a quarterback could hit those receivers, right? He did come back down to earth. I agree with the Godly, but then I agree with you. I don't think he's there enough to where they can lean in a late game situation against the Patriots or the Chiefs in the playoffs where he has to make a drive because with his arm because they're going to stop him scrambling. I don't think he's there yet.
Oh no, definitely not. And yeah,
So,
Godly, I agree. Reading it a little bit further, comparing him to a guy like Mahomes is ridiculous. And I didn't see anyone doing that, but I wouldn't be surprised if people were. But again,
yeah.
give him time. By the end, even by the end of the season, he's gonna be better.
He could progress. Yeah, he'll progress then too. But the issue with that though is look where we're at with Cam Newton. Well, look what's happened with Wentz. Look what happened to RG3's career. These quarterbacks that scramble and move around a lot, that catches up to you. These hits, and he does take a lot of hits. So that
Oklahoma State product.
let's talk about that real quick. We kind of didn't talk about that. I want some people to say, MW, you are a sports genius. I get Roethlisberger's out. Mason Rudolph, maybe not that great of a quarterback. Where's Juju been? Like everyone's like, oh, Juju's the number one now. He was 1,000-yard receiver last year. He's going to be even better this year. He's the number one. No, he was that good last year because Antonio Brown took all of the defensive mindset, went to stopping this man, and they still couldn't stop him. So Juju's open. Now that Juju's the man, where's he at?
How many?
Ollivander,
What are his
explain it to
stats
me.
right?
Not good. Juju is open 25 yards down the field every other play. Rudolph just doesn't know how to pass the ball further than 2 feet. Okay, I will say I haven't really watched much Steelers games, right? So I can't act like but I know he hadn't been putting up because I know like exactly what UConn's saying right here too is I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter posting things about how Juju single-handedly losing them their fantasy because he's not putting up.
Y'all should listen to them.
But if we'll go with what Ollivander's saying, if you have a quarterback that can't get it to you, it's can you do, man? What can you do?
What team are we on now? The Browns? We just
Browns.
went through.
What are your thoughts on the Browns, man? Baker Mayfield, OU product.
The fact of the matter is, again, year 2, he's still growing. But right now, he's not that great. Like he's just not. He's not ready to lead a team deep in the playoffs right now. He's still learning how to play the position. He's still catching up to the speed of the game. Yeah. He makes mistakes. He's a young quarterback. It makes sense for him to make mistakes. I love the dude. I want him to be successful. Right now, it's similar to Lamar Jackson. They're still figuring it out, and it's going to take a little bit. Even if you have a guy like Odell there, it's going to take some time. But he has the benefit of Odell and Landry and Nick Chubb just ripping through the Ravens. So
the talent's there. I think at this point, with all that talent there, they almost need to go to Baker and say, we just need you to manage the game right now. Like, we don't need you to be this just whipping the ball everywhere, doing that. Just manage the game. That's what it feels like to me. Because there's so much talent there. Or, I don't know, let Odell be your quarterback. Did you see that throw he had on Sunday?
Oh, no, I didn't see it.
They did a reverse Odell throw, and my God, what a great throw. The receiver should have caught it, but he has a cannon arm. And
I will agree their coach does suck, and some of the play calls, because I do watch Browns games on occasion just because I like to see how Baker Mayfield and Myles Garrett do. And some of the play calls left me scratching my head, like, why? Yeah. Well, it reminded me of one Bill O'Brien.
Well, last week, and they lost, and it was 4th and 9, right? Mm-hmm. And they ran a draw on 4th and 9. And after the game, they asked him, and the coach and Kitchen says, "I'm still learning how to call plays in the NFL." Like, that's not good.
How you head coach?
He was, if you're aware of his story at all, he's a fast riser, right? Like a fast riser. Like he was like I don't even remember what his title was last year, but apparently the players love him, right? Supposedly. So
kind of like Sean McVay.
Yeah. What's up, expletive? But
this is the most positive stuff I've heard from chat about Baker Mayfield ever. I should start off with more negative Baker Mayfield stuff so chat's positive, because I swear anytime I say something nice about Baker Mayfield, he sucks.
Well, let's just be honest, Lags, right? And chat will back me up on this. You don't just talk about Baker Mayfield, or you don't just talk about Kyler Murray, which we'll get to. And don't worry, we're going to have a good debate about that, right?
Oh, I can't wait.
You don't just talk about them. You literally talk about them like they're the second coming of Jesus Christ.
When have I said that about either of those players? Name me one time.
I didn't say you said that.
When have I talked about them that way at any point in time? Ever.
Every single time.
Other than in college, which at that point they were. Both won the Heisman.
Yeah.
Both were amazing players in college.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. He was coaching in high school not that long ago. Yeah. I mean, his story to go from where he's been is quick. but it's not a good look when your coach is saying, I'm still learning how to call
Yeah,
plays at the NFL."
that's a little terrifying.
Yeah, I know. So if the Steelers fired Tomlin this year, the Browns should 100% hire him. They turn things around instantly. Tomlin, I've always
I'll be
had
right back while you talk
back
about
and
Tom.
forth feelings on Tomlin. Like I feel like he is a good coach, but he did take over a very established team, very established team, and he's helped maintain it. And they've been good, but like it's not. I don't know. He's a good coach. He's a good coach. Uh, I think Baker getting called out and told he sucked was probably the best thing for him. Yeah, because I agreed too, expletive, because there was after his rookie season, just everybody loved him. He's the toast of the NFL. He needed to be brought back down to earth because it is only the second year in the league. So, uh, you love Baker ever since his game versus Kentucky or Kansas when he told them to leave and just wait. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and then he had what did he have he had multiple things like that with teams. He obviously came after UT hard. There was a few times. Yeah, I like Baker too. I didn't think the Browns were going to be world beaters this year, just because. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guy. Like I don't remember like team super teams in the NFL working where you trade for Odell, you trade for these high profile players, and it works. So, um, but I didn't think they were going to be good right off the bat. They're an okay team. They got a lot of talent. I think Baker, like I said earlier, just needs to be at this point of his career, while he's still learning to be a NFL quarterback. He needs to be more at this point a game manager, not someone that's going to go out a few games back where he threw like 4 or 5 picks, and he's the reason they lost that game. Uh, he's a great coach, just in such a bad situation. Once you lose a locker room like he did with Brown, Big Ben fiasco, it's hard to win them back and come off as the man in charge. Tomlin doesn't have a whole lot of authority in that locker room. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I'm sure he'll be one of those coaches that if they do let him go or they decide to part ways or whatever, that there will be plenty of teams that want his services. So you were happy that Baker wasn't. There was a lot of people that thought that Johnny that he was Baker Mayfield was the next Manziel.
Two of my
So
favorite quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield and Johnny Manziel.
but Manziel 2 years into his career was okay. He was okay, and then he's gone. So Baker could still be that guy.
Manziel took
Yeah,
one too many hits of the crack pipe.
I agree.